In this video, I'm gonna show you how you can create this headless manipulation using Photoshop. So let's get started. Hey, what's up guys, Dhruval here, and as you can see, this is the final output. Now for this tutorial, I will be using these two stock images, and also I will be using this smoke brushes. Now they are all from devantart.com, and if you want to use them, the download link is in video description, so feel free to use it. Now onto the tutorial. So let's go to file and open the image. So I'm gonna select my stock photo, this gentleman, and I'm gonna open it. Now go and select your crop tool from here and crop the unnecessary area. So I want a really nice close-up so we can see the smoke effect really nicely. Now it's looking pretty good, and we have to cut him out from the background. So for that, I'm gonna go and select my quick selection tool and make sure it's on plus mode, and I'm gonna go and make a selection. Now when you make a selection, make sure you don't have to select everything. Just go and select the suit, and as you can see, we by mistake selected this, so I'm gonna go to my minus and I'm gonna remove it. So as you can see, the suit is selected. After that, go and click on your layer mask option. Then go and create a new blank layer and put it under your model. Select your paint bucket tool from here and fill in what do you call black color. As you can see, my black color, fill it. After that, right click on your background layer here and select blending options, and in the blending options select gradient overlay, and in the gradient make sure it's black and white here. Okay. Change its style to radial and reverse it so dark portion is outside, and make the scale 150%, and then I'm gonna put it a little bit here like this, and make my opacity somewhere around like 20-30%. So 24 looks good, and hit OK. Now the cutout of suit doesn't look very good, so select your layer mask here, then select your brush tool and make sure you have selected what do you call a simple round brush. Make it smaller using your bracket keys and remove this unnecessary area. Make sure you are painting with black color. Now for the outside area, you select your mask, right click and select refine mask. And in the refine mask, first thing you do, you shift edge to somewhere around like minus 80-90%. Increase your feather a little bit and then increase the contrast so you have nice contrast and decent sharp edges. So this is looking pretty good. Go and hit OK. Now after that, we have to make the background a little bit interesting. So select a background layer, create a new blank layer, select your brush tool and make sure it's really big soft brush. This big is pretty good, and then change your color to somewhere around like sky blue, bright sky blue. Looks pretty good. Then go and simply do a click. Now it's really bright, so go and change the opacity to somewhere around like 50% or something like that, and then you can select move tool and move it a little bit here. After that, go and create another blank layer, select your paint bucket tool and make sure your color here is black, fill it. Then you go to filter, noise and add noise. Add around 90 to 100 and hit OK. After that, you go to filter and filter gallery. In filter gallery, you go and select your dry brush. Numbers are 3, 10 and 1. You can play around if you want. Then go and hit OK. So the sparkles looking pretty good. Then change the blending mode to screen. But I don't want it everywhere. So I'm gonna select my eraser and make sure it's really soft, 0% hard. And then I'm gonna go and remove it from the areas where I don't like it. So this is looking pretty good. After that, you go to image, adjustment, and then you go and select hue saturation. In the hue saturation, you go and click on colorize, and then you increase your saturation to like 60-70% like that, and decrease the lightness a little bit. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And change the hue to somewhere green, looking pretty good. Hit OK. So we have simple tint of green, and then you go and make a copy, press Ctrl J, you go to filter, you go to blur and you go to Gaussian blur. And the Gaussian blur, make sure it's really minimum, 0.5 to 1 pixel, it's pretty good. Hit OK. So now if I turn it on and off, see we have those bright sparkle, and change the opacity somewhere like 50%. So yeah, now the background looks even better. Then you go and create another blank layer from here. Select your brush tool here, and select any of the smoke brushes which you like. So I'm gonna go and make sure your color is white. Do a click, then change the brush. Once this is done, select your rubber tool from here, and remove the hard edges from here like this. Then go and change its blending mode to soft light, and change the opacity to somewhere around like 20-30%. Then you go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and apply decent amount of blur, not too much, okay? So somewhere around like 3-4 pixel looks pretty good. Hit OK. So the background is completely ready, and now we can work on the body. So first of all, I will select my layer 1, hold my shift key and click the layer 4. Then I will press Ctrl G. So everything is in a group, simple to manage. Now let's work on the body. So we need to fill up this place. For that, you go and create a new blank layer from here. Select your pen tool. Even if you don't know pen tool, it's pretty easy. What do? You first of all click on this dot here, right? Where this point ends. Then you go and click on this end. Don't release your click, okay? And drag it. So now you have a pretty decent shape, which looks pretty good. Then you hold down your Alt key and you click on the point. So you close the handle, then just go simply click and close it in here. Once this is done, you right click and you select make selection and make sure it's 0 here and hit OK. Now select your paint bucket tool, and in the color, pick the color from the suit. So I think this looks pretty good. Hit OK, a little brighter. Okay, fill it. Now go to select and go to deselect. Now put this under your model here. So see, now the background is getting filled up, but we can make it better. For that, you right click and then you select blending options. In the blending option, first thing is gradient overlay, and I will put the gradient a little bit higher. Yeah, looking good. Then go and change its blending mode to soft light, and then the opacity a little bit. Then you go and select bevel and emboss, and in the emboss make sure that it's a little bit sharper, okay, and not too soft. So I think this is gonna work out pretty good, and not too big also. And change its angle so the shine is in the middle. Perfect. And then you have to decrease the opacity on your highlight mode, as you can see, because that will make it look less fake. So I'm gonna go and keep it 40%, hit OK. Now we need to add in some texture so we can use from the suit. For that, go and select your lasso tool from here, right? And make a suit selection. So where can we? So let's make a selection from here. Then you go and select your model, right? Because we're gonna copy from the model. So right click and select layer via copy. So now if you select your move tool, you see you have copy. So put this one here, and I'm gonna put it a little bit under my model, exactly here. Then I will right click and select create clipping mask, and then I will put it somewhere around here. Now I don't want the stripes here, okay? So I'm gonna press Ctrl T, hold my shift key, and I'm gonna make it bigger so I can remove those strips. Then go and confirm it. So this is looking pretty good, and you can then go and change the opacity of your texture so it doesn't look overwhelming, and that's pretty good. So it's looking pretty good, and now we can add in the smoke. So for that, go and create a new blank layer and make sure this layer is under your model and on top of your fake suit you just created here. Then you go and select your brush tool, and in the brush go and select any smoke brush that you like. So I think this one looks pretty good, so select it. And in the color, I wanted bright green because it goes pretty well against this blue background and the colors look really nice. So this looks pretty good. Go and hit OK. Then I'm gonna go and do a click. Now if it's big, press Ctrl T. You can also rotate it, to make it even more precise. Hold your shift key and make it smaller a little bit here. That's looking actually pretty good. Then go and confirm it. Now we can add in that glow so the smoke looks even better. So for that, change your brush to our regular soft round brush here. Go. And make your brush a bit smaller. Then you go and create a new blank layer and you put it under your smoke. So here's smoke. Let's rename it so we don't get confused. And let's rename it glow. Good. Now on the glow layer, I'm gonna go and do a click here like this. Pretty good, eh? Then I'm gonna go and change the opacity to somewhere around like 70% and change the blend mode to screen. See, now better. So the smoke and body is ready. Now we can add in the top hat. So for that, you go to file and you go and select place and find in the top hat image that you download and go and place it. Then I'm gonna go and confirm it and put it on top so you can see it properly. Now we have to cut it out obviously, so select the selection tool, make sure it's on plus, make the brush bigger and make a selection. So the selection is done and then go and click on your layer mask. So the background is gone. Now activate your layer here, the thumbnail here, then press Ctrl T, right click and select flip vertical. So put it here. Then right click and select flip horizontal because I want the light to come from this way. Then hold your shift key and make it smaller, small enough until it fits your proportion properly. And now just like the suit, you select your top hat, you right click, select refine mask. And in the refine mask, I'm gonna shift edge a little bit and then I'm gonna again increase the feather a little bit and increase the contrast. So that's better. Go and hit OK. Now I'm gonna take my top hat and I'm gonna put it under my smoke layer. So we have smoke on top. Now to make it look a bit more natural, select your smoke layer here, select the eraser tool, make it a bit smaller and remove it from here till here. That's pretty good. Don't remove it from this black part here, so it makes it look better. Now if you look at the top hat, it's a bit darker. So for that, you select your top hat, you right click and select rasterize layer. After that, you go to image, adjustment and then you select hue and saturation. Here you make your saturation somewhere around like minus 30-40% and increase the lightness by 9. So now it matches the suit better and hit OK. So the effect is looking pretty good and now we can do the touch-ups. And for that, first thing I would like to do is go and create a blank layer on top of everything. Select my brush tool and make sure I have a really soft round brush. This big is perfect and I have my same green color and I will do a click like this. Then go and change its blending mode to screen and opacity to somewhere around like 25%. And then move it somewhere around here on the code and make it bigger. So we have this sweet little glow on the suit. After that, go and create a new adjustment layer and you select selective colors. And I would like to start with the greens, and first thing I will do is in the yellow I will make it somewhere around like 23% or something. Looks pretty good. Then I will go and select my cyans. In the cyan, here I will go and make it somewhere around like minus 50, and in the black somewhere around like 30 minus 40. Looks pretty good. Then I will go and change to my blues, and there in the magenta I will add maybe somewhere around plus 30, and in the blacks somewhere around like minus 30. Looks pretty good. Then I will go and change to my neutrals. There I will go and add remove a magenta a little bit, minus 7. And also in the yellow a little bit, minus 10. And in the blacks I will actually increase it to give it more contrast, so use it as much as you like. So this is looking pretty good. And then I'm gonna go and close it. Now it's time for the adjustment to make it really pop. So first thing we can do is we can go with the glow and we can make it a bit brighter here and increase its opacity so we can have better look. Good. We can also go back to background, and in the background smoke we can increase this opacity so we can see that better. And after that, in the gradient here with our fake suit, I would like to put the gradient a little bit higher, so it looks even better now, and then go and hit OK. And for overall brightness, you can always go and create a new adjustment layer, and you select curves, and here you can make it overall brighter, and then you can control the brightness from here. So this way you can give it more punch and really vibrant look. So I think this is looking pretty amazing. And you can also do one thing. Do you have this model layer here, right? So you select that, you right click and go to blending option, and here you have option for inner glow. This is optional, okay? Some people don't like it, some do. So go to your inner glow and increase the size a little bit. So that's looking pretty good. And make the opacity to somewhere around like 20%. And in the color, you go and select the color from your background, bluish tone, as you can see here. Hit OK. And now play around with opacity until you get the output you like, and you have a pretty good lighting effect right there. Hit OK. And to apply on head, you right click on your FX and you select copy layer style. Then you select your head. Where is the head? Here. Then you right click and select paste layer style, and you have same effect on the head. So that's it, and this is the final output. So I really hope that you guys learned something from this video, and if you did, hit that like button and share this video with your friends. And if you have any kind of questions or suggestions, feel free to ask me in comment section below. Till then, goodbye, take care, and have some fun with Photoshop.